Hello and welcome to ZDNet Security Update with me, Danny Palmer, Senior Reporter at ZDNet. COVID-19, or coronavirus as it's more commonly known, is taking the world by storm at the moment. It's the biggest issue facing us right now as governments, businesses, and of course healthcare professionals do all they can to stop the spread of this pandemic. Unfortunately, not everyone is trying to do their bits to help out, and it's something that cyber criminals are looking to exploit for their own gain. With me to discuss this is Lotham Finkelstein, Threat Intelligence Group Manager at cybersecurity company Checkpoint. Thanks for joining me, Lotham. And first of all, why are cyber criminals trying to exploit this issue right now?
Yeah, it's very simple actually. Concerns about the COVID-19 or novel coronavirus seem to have become as contagious as the virus itself. So no coronavirus emails in our mailboxes would go unnoticed. We will open every file, install every app, click whatever needed to get up to date with the latest news and headlines about the coronavirus outbreak in our region, but even in faraway countries like Italy or Spain, or even what is the situation in the US and what are the new instructions in New York itself. So we will do everything in order to get up to date with this. And it works perfectly to the ends of threat actors who are just looking for this kind of situations to move victims into their malicious network. So the combination of the situation and the motivations that we see throughout the years in cyber threat landscape works perfectly, and this is the destructive outcome of the combination of the two.
Yes, it's certainly something that people are very interested in reading about. I know basically my entire Twitter feed is all about this thing now, and cyber criminals always look to try and exploit these types of things. So what are the most common types of scams we're seeing at the moment in regards to coronavirus? A lot of things like phishing emails and other sorts of malware are being distributed with coronavirus being used as a lure, aren't they?
Yeah, so we can split the answer to two. One is the phishing tactic that is used to lure victims into the infrastructure of the threat actors. And it is obvious that we see threat actors using the situation. As we said, that we see that, for example, coronavirus-themed domains are 50% more likely to be malicious than any other domain. This is very interesting because it means that when we look for protection masks, for example, online, we most probably fall into a scam or malicious website. We also see APT groups use this kind of phishing tactics to lure victims. We just reported about a Chinese APT group that actually worked to exploit and to infect Mongolian public sector companies with their own weapons using a weaponized document that is themed about the coronavirus outbreak in China. And this is also very interesting because we see that even in China, where it all began, APT groups are still active, although the coronavirus outbreak is going wild out there. And the other part of the answer is actually the fact that most of us are working from home, and we obviously expose more things to the internet because we access our infrastructure online. Many or very little personnel are on site, meaning that there are very few people who can take care for the security. So threat actors also use this situation to try and attack and gain foothold in those companies. We see that they are targeting companies and organizations in countries where the lockdown is taking place. So we also see that threat actors using the situation of the lockdown to exploit and make their profits out of the situation.
You make a good point there about remote working. I mean, for a lot of people, this is going to be the first time they've worked from home. And I suppose it's going to be quite simple for attackers to try and take advantage of that, because these people might not be used to the threats that people who are used to remote working might be aware of. Plus, attackers will see advantages in trying to exploit things like VPN services and that sort of thing. Because if people are using usernames and passwords to log in to various services, that's going to be something attackers will want to get hold of. And with a phishing email, they could quite easily do that and dupe those who are not trained to see what could be deemed as malicious attacks.
Right. And the situation also catched many companies not ready to do a remote work. So maybe they had to do all kind of patches for the last second, and it left many assets exposed. I know that many companies move their assets to the cloud, for example, just to make it available for everyone immediately. But actually, they exposed very sensitive data, sometimes even source code to the internet, and now they are trying to protect it with all kinds of solutions. So we also see security admins trying to find solutions when they are working remotely.
And cyber criminals are, of course, going to take any advantage of anything they can in order to gain a step up on this. As we've seen, they're already using this epidemic as a tool. So any sort of unpatched software or remote service that has not been properly seen to is going to be an open goal for them, because I guess they have no real qualms about what they do here.
Right. All right.
So what can users do to protect themselves from coronavirus-related cyber attacks and scams in this environment?
Okay, so first of all, we must understand that when we get an email or a message about the coronavirus, we first must validate that the source of this message, that the source of this email is we are familiar with it. And we don't have to execute anything before we are 100% sure that this is a reliable source and that we expect to get this email or message. We also don't have to click every link in order to view the content. Usually the government or official authorities provide the information without requiring any other or further actions. So when we are required to do something that we didn't expect to do, we must first stop and question whether it is legitimate or not. Another thing is we must understand that we have to secure our connections to our assets on site, meaning that we cannot access them over HTTP, for example, but we must establish something like VPN or secured connection with our sites. So security admins should take care of it, and if they have no time to do that, please make sure that they are aware of the risks. And especially now we see that many people work over mobile phones and tablets and such, so please take care and make sure that you don't download something, some malicious app. We are aware of many threat actors trying to get into our mobile devices through malicious apps nowadays. So whether use protection for your mobile, because now this is your work space. And if you don't use, please make sure that you are fully aware of the risks and take the right measures to prevent it.
Thank you, Lotham. That's some really good advice for staying safe online in these difficult times. And for more information about staying safe online and how to protect yourself from cyber attacks and other threats, be sure to keep reading ZDNet. Thank you for watching.